Hello, my name is Malcolm Mundy. I'm an astrologer here in Austin, Texas, and this is the China portion of my predictions for the year 2012. China was born as an entity on October 1st, 1949, 3:01 p.m. Beijing, China. This was the time of pronouncement of the People's Republic of China by Mao Zedong. China is going to, for the most part, continue to grow to be the world's foremost power. It has gotten almost silly to the point we have our most important individuals in finance in this country now learning to speak Mandarin Chinese and going over there to communicate with them. What is alarming, this includes Timothy Geithner, who was Secretary of the Treasury currently, or who is Secretary of the Treasury currently, and before him, Hank Paulson, who was former head of, both of them were former heads of Goldman Sachs, and now the U.S. Treasury Department heads, and both of them know how to speak Mandarin. And it was reported that Hank Paulson made 74 trips to China as when he was U.S. Treasury Secretary, and a lot of people will say, oh, that's because he had to convince them to buy our bonds so we can finance our national debt, etc. But I think there's something darker and uglier under the surface. And I think a lot of it has to do with, in my opinion, trying to move the United States into the same direction that China is in terms of its treatment of its citizens, in terms of the low wages it pays its citizens, which I think are envied by U.S. corporations. And I also believe that the financial model that China's proposing in terms of their citizens buying gold, I think that's going to eventually hit here also. So it's probably going to be a good idea to buy some gold and silver, because I think this is going to be an important means of exchange in the future as the Chinese people are demonstrating it, because you're not seeing the Chinese government go after its people for buying gold. You are seeing them go after people on the internet who speak out against the Chinese government, however. So if you're looking for the direction that the U.S. government may be heading, watch out the direction China is going, because I think we're little by little by little heading in that direction, and it's pretty frightening. Anyway, let's go to China. China has Jupiter in the 3rd going into the 4th in mid-May. Then it goes into the 5th house in September, and then it retrogrades back into the 4th house in November. China's communications with the world and establishing their communications protocol as defined by the 3rd house, I think that's pretty much been established. And now they're going to go into, I think, business involving their own realty. China's real estate, much like Israel's real estate, is depressed. There are lots and lots and lots of empty buildings all over China. They thought there was going to be this big mad rush into business, and they found out, like any other nation, hey, growth ain't that quick. And I think you're going to probably see China start to be involved in maybe sales of these real estate. It won't be to individuals, but will be to international financial powers, as I think they have a big problem with a lot of unoccupied real estate, especially business-wise. Then, with Jupiter going into the 5th house in September, 5th house is the house of speculation. I think this is going to be the Shanghai stock market index going on a tear in sympathy with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So I think that's going to be a stock market flash in the pan, I think, for the Shanghai index, and along with the Dow Jones Average, which I think is going to lure a lot of stupid people as it breaks out to new all-time highs as Obama runs for re-election and wins. Next we have Saturn in the 9th house. 9th house is one's philosophy, political outlook, international travel. Chinese are going to continue to restrict international travel, and I also think you're going to see their political philosophy and agenda remain conservative, as you would expect Saturn in the 9th house to be. So they're going to continue to be restrictive as far as who comes into the country and who can leave, and they're also going to continue to be nasty type of restrictions on individual freedom that you would expect China to have. Then we come on to Uranus. Uranus is going to be in the second house all year. This, I think, is going to be their financial net worth going all over the place. Uranus's surprises, industrial technology. And yeah, I think China's going to probably get involved to become more technologically savvy. But I also think you're going to see big changes in their net worth. I think you're going to see maybe some real volatility with the Shanghai index, as well as their real estate values, and definitely their commodity values, which they're reportedly heavily into. And I think those are going to take a big hit for 2012. Next we see Pluto. Pluto is going to be, oh, I didn't get to Neptune. I'm sorry. Neptune's going to be in the first house all year. And as was the case with Barack Obama, you're going to see China continue to put on their capitalist face for the United States, their pro-business face for the Middle East oil sector, and their Mao Zedong face for their own citizens, put up or shut up. And so this is going to continue to work well for the Chinese, just as it's going to work well for Barack Obama come election, and this is going to be for all year for them. Pluto is going to be in the 12th house. The 12th house rules institutions, prisons, hospitals, and China has a prison-like approach for business, whereby the best way to keep your wages low is to keep people in a prison-like environment. And this model is envied by this country's corporations, excuse me. And this is going to continue, and you're going to probably see this model attacked by not just citizens of the U.S. but by other people. And of course, they will not waver to shake a single or wage a single change in this area, because they have been so successful with it. And I really think people need to think about this the next time they go to Walmart to buy their goods, because it is made by these kinds of workers in a prison-like environment at 12 to 25 cents an hour. That's why these products are so cheap. And I think that's it for right now. We're now going to go to the Belovesh Accords, which is the old Soviet Union. And that's it for China.